Good morning. It's the Wall Street Weekly Wrap Up, February 1st, 2025. So goes January, so goes the year. First year of a president, plus that, good indication we're going to have a good month. But our portfolio, first time in years, is behind the S&P 500 by a little bit. I mean, we're up like 4% above it, and then, of course, the NVDA news, which we'll talk about, because of DeepSeek, definitely affected a lot of it. Does it affect me? No. I bought NVIDIA at 117 on Monday. You're going to give it to me? Wall Street is one of the few places that they have a fire sale. People run the other way. So you just got to remember it. We're up to 2.26, which is good. If it goes 2.26 for 12 months, we're up 24%. Wow. We'll see. Like I said, we took off, this goes up to 30th, and then we're down 0.65 today. But this is it. It is close between the S&P 500. The brown is S&P 500. We are in there. Wow. You're going to have stomach. We got a lot of future. I mean, I hate to say I like dealing with semiconductors. As Fred Langford used to say, in 2000, nobody knows it better than me. And I don't know if that's true because John Jones was really good at it. But the market trend, the Dow, look at this. The Dow stocks are doing real well. I mean, they got all the big players. The Mag 7's literally all in there, and not bad. But most people don't trade the Dow. Mid caps were leaders last week. Excuse me. I ate a pastry, and it's like going in there. But the Russell 200, 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, doing well. Small caps, looking at a lot of positive news. S&P 500, it's down there. And our portfolio's a little bit behind, but it's just 1 week. I'll take 2% a month. If we can get that, I'll be a heck of a year. Remember, our goal, if we get 8%, is a good year. We already got 1/4 of the way, and we're only 1 month in it. So, NASDAQ Composite, wow, look at this. All of a sudden, the leader, tough year. We beat all of them, remember, but I just showed a SPY chart. I mean, it's chugging along. A lot of stuff. It hit last week up toward the high, and then it's coming down a little bit on Monday because everything kind of tanked Monday. But it's not bad. It's a good, solid uptrend, and it's in a nice channel. Boy, this 200-day moving average for the SPY is really nice. The indicators, 2-year, I mean, it's just going down a little bit. They are trying to get this down. We've cut and cut. The Fed didn't cut this time, and we heard there's going to be a lot of pressure internally on it to cut next time. 2 rate cuts is what everybody expects next month, or this quarter, or whatever you want to call it, or the year. Crude oil, 72, hanging down. It's coming down. I paid $3.19 today, so it's higher than it's been probably all summer. Natural gas, hanging at 3. It's trying to hang on. We went through a brutal month. Now, I haven't got the gas bill for January, but I have a feeling my electric bill is going to be a lot higher because I like spot heat. Gold, we got to show it because $2,800. We are at a high. This is incredible. Boom. We have gold. 5% of our position is in physical gold. You got to have it. Silver, look at this, 32. Not bad. You can buy silver pretty well close to 32 if you want to buy the physical silver. We do it. It just takes more room to store silver than it does gold. And copper slowly creeping to 450. So, not everything was bad. It's I thought it was okay week, except that, NVIDIA. And we got to talk about other things like coffee. Oh my God, it's just like I got the Keurig now. I know I love Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and but you pay $5 a cup with a couple flavors in it, and then it becomes $6, $7, $8, and it's like, oh my God. And beef finally dropped. I mean, this thing was going high. These people were making the cattle, and but they have the swine flu. This is what's kind of scaring people. Swine flu, or the H1, whatever, N1 is coming. H5N1 or something's coming into the cattle, and that's not good. They already wiped out millions of chickens. So if they have this get to the herds and wipe out 1 million cattle, you're talking, this is going to be $25 a pound for beef. So this, I sat with Ava, and we went through the how to do the thing, and she suggested let's do it by sectors, and she picked the 12. And I says, no, I'm going to talk about everything I got. So, you know, we're going to do it this way for the first couple weeks, and we'll see how it goes. But we'll start out with Meta. I mean, Meta, 26% revenue growth year to year. This is a $3 billion company. Or no, that's not like Meta. That's it's a $1 trillion company. It's grown 20%. That is amazing. I just thought 320 million monthly users on Threads. I use Threads. What I think is amazing, 1 million people a day are signing up. That's a lot of 100 million everyday users. And they charge $14.99 to get a little blue check mark. And I checked the algorithm when they just started this week. Guess who shows up on the posts on any topic? The blue check mark. So we're gonna just put it down as advertising. You know, I just feel sorry because I think it's high. You know, I mean, it could go down to 8 like X, but I wouldn't be on X anyway. So capital expenditures, they held straight. Everybody after DeepSeek, are they gonna spend this much money? And he says, yeah, we're gonna spend it. Didn't back off on it, didn't lower it. You got to remember, Meta. You know, Zuckerberg said the value lies in the data. And they've got 3 billion people in the Meta group, 3.5, whatever it is, in the world. That's a lot of data to sit there and watch go back and forth. And I know you're not supposed to look at it, you got to get permission, but you know, just say they're looking at it and they advertise it. You go in there, I say something like, oh, I need to get a pair of sunglasses. And the next thing, my ads are filled with sunglasses. And I just said it. And I know my little Alexa's listening, and if I type in a search, it's gonna be in there. And it's just amazing. That's AI in action. You know, targeted ads, know what you need. I got, you know, the Alexa. I didn't do it. We're not gonna talk actually about Amazon because I'm waiting for the earnings, and then we'll talk more about it. But you know, I look at it. They're reminding me, hey, by the way, based on your buying pattern, you ought to be buying this much more. They're out there. This is all going to be, you know, AI at its best, or some people say worst. A lot of people are, you know, one thing I'm starting to realize, there's a lot of people getting out of Facebook. I think they're going to revise it. That's what Zuck said, because 1001 leaks. He says, I hate it when I say something and something leaks. Well, you know, you're doing good. Just enjoy the ride. Microsoft, 12% growth. Double digits. $1 trillion company, $3 trillion, and it's growing double digits. There's a lot of $3 trillion companies. Well, not only there's only 3, but I mean, Apple's not doing this, and they act like this stock. Oh, look at, let's take it down to the record levels. We didn't like the earnings. Oh, Azure's growth, it was 33 and it went down. That market is tough. So it's the revenues from cloud. It's an reader and enterprise. The Copilot is finally fixed, though. You get it when you get PowerPoint and Word, and you can get suggestions. I don't have to close the thing and go to, or not close the thing, but minimize the thing, go to another AI, ask for stuff. It's seamless. It just becomes a bar on the side. You say, give me a couple bullet points, and it'll give you, and it's pretty good. Graphic-wise, nobody's good. They're better. They're probably the best of all the graphics, though. You know, all the AIs that are out there for, you know, large language models, they've got the best graphics. So it looks cartoonish. It looks very, you know, anime, but that's okay. It's clear and it's kind of fun, and I play with it. But you know, it still can't sort the slides. It did do something nice. It said, I says, how many duplicate slides do I have in this presentation? And it picked out the 8 slides. What it should have done is said, you know, slide 8 and 250 are the exact same. But I was looking at it because I had them in the order I wanted. I wish it would have told me the last 8 that were duplicate. Then I would have just deleted them. But you know, it's a good start. I'm just waiting for it to make the thing in there, merge it together, put suggestions, and say, do you like your version or do you like our version? You know, it's going to come. NVDA again. You know, we talked about it. The H100, you know, Grace Hopper. DeepSeek at 50,000. It wasn't DeepSeek. It was Scale AI. CEO said they got 50,000 of them. DeepSeek, I'm not saying the hedge fund guy. I saw him in China shaking a lot of big people's hands, but I didn't hear anybody interview him. All based on the Asia Time article. It was complete nonsense. But you know what? I played with DeepSeek, so it's okay. You know, The version 3 is like, you know, ChatGPT 3, because I think they stole it. I was bringing it up to OpenAI. I says, you know, I ask some very unique questions that I save when I test these AI systems to see how good they can pick up things. And I ran it through 20 questions a while ago, and guess what? I'm starting to see the exact same answer from DeepSeek, which leads me to believe it stole ChatGPT. And now Microsoft is looking into it, OpenAI is looking into it. But there's no way. I asked very unique, specific questions. There's no way anybody else in the world asked those questions. And then when I give them a test and it misses, out of 10 tough questions, misses the exact same one with the same exact answer, why this was the right answer. And I think, yep, there it is. There it is. They took it. They bought it. We'll talk about peak data too, but that's a little later. You know, let's say, because, you know, you know, when you own NVIDIA for, what, I don't know, 2011, 2008, I can't remember when I bought it. I have to go back, you know, because, you know, when you get the thing, it doesn't, you know, because I switched to Schwab, all my historical data is gone. You know, it's just like, oh, you got it at this price when you came over to Schwab. Okay, you know, that's fine, but, you know, if you follow, I've been around for a long time on it. You know, the leader, you know, the GPUs for AI, they have TensorRT, which is going to optimize inference with the thing, trying to lose, you know, make it quicker, less energy, everything else like this. They have CUDA, which helps, you know, leverage the parallel processing. Remember, you're going to have all these GPUs in this big, huge rack system, and it's trying to, you know, recognize that it can sit there and do a lot of these tasks with parallel processing, and it's going to be processing large data sets. That is the key to the future of this. You know, we'll talk more about peak efficiencies, but, you know, are they sold out in 2025? Yes. Would the Chinese love to get the Blackwell chip? Yes. Did the Chinese take Huawei and replace it with NVIDIA? No. They bought NVIDIA. Taiwan Semiconductor makes the chips. The thinking is they got some vendors in Singapore, and they gave them to the Chinese. That's 50,000 chips. You know, they're like the size of a 8x11 notebook type of thing, because I've seen the Grace Hopper, and that's a lot of chips to steal. You know, but you got money, you know, that's what they're going to do. And, you know, what's interesting, DeepSeek's selling it to everybody. You know, it's open source, so they're putting it on these systems, and everybody's grabbing it. Who loses? It's not NVIDIA. Nobody's losing on NVIDIA's side. It is OpenAI who's charging for the same thing, and DeepSeek is killing them. Killing them. So you want a loser, pick OpenAI. But, oh, that's not in there. That's Microsoft, 20% owner. That's why I think part of the punishment of Microsoft. Google, you know, the Waymo is going to go to Atlanta. Ding, 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 ding. And they're going to partner with Uber, which is great news for both companies. You know, I mean, you know, I think Elon's talking, oh, we're going to be 2028. We'll be ready. We'll be ready. They're using it now in San Francisco. I've watched the people I know use it. They're filming it. I thought it's great. You know, Baidu in China, the first implementer, first mover, very good too. Both of them. They're not going to compete against Uber. They're going to be partners with Uber. Wow. And the trucking industry is drooling. Please come to our trucks, because we could do a lot more safer driving and everything else. So Google, look at us, boom, it's at record highs. You know, I see Google being a $3 trillion company eventually in the future. You know, when, I don't know, but 2026 maybe. Tesla, you know, look at the revenue growth. Boy, that's not even single digits. Oh, it is single digit, not even double digits. But look at this thing, new vehicles. You know, they did good in EVs. Cybercab coming out, you know, all this stuff. Got to remember, sure, you know, essentially it's nothing going to be this year for autonomous for Tesla. Then they got excited. Oh, the Optimus could be a $10 trillion thing. Then I think about the Amazon warehouse where they already got the robots picking. No, they're not interactive. You can't say hello to it. It doesn't care about you. But I've been in Japan with the robot. It does talk to you, interacts with you. Pretty neat thing, you know. And so, you know, this is up in the 400s, and you know, a lot of people, you know, like I said, we bought it 100 sold when it's got double. Took a lot of money and made our money on it. Some people say you should have held it. It's like, no, you know, I look at the revenue growth. This is not stellar revenue growth. You know, you're buying on hope of revenue growth. That's could be hope for a long time. I want now. I want revenue growth now. I'll be paying more for it, but I want it now. You know, energy. You know, everybody gets excited. I mean, the oil companies are just being hammered because they want to get it down below 70, which will probably happen if everybody's going on there. But we're going to put tariffs on a lot of stuff, and they want China and India not to buy the Russian oil. I was like, good luck with that. I mean, it's cheap. The Russians are dumping it. They need some money. Of course, if they don't have any oil to be selling, then nobody's going to buy it, and they'll collapse. You know, is that what everybody wants? Well, sure, the Ukrainians want it, but I think, like I said, Exxon is making billions on $70 oil. Make a few billion on $60 oil. Make $1 billion on $50 oil. So they're not in trouble. Good company. You know, you diversify. Valero, just same sector. Boy, that revenue drop is big. You know, I mean, you know, it's operational efficiencies support Valero's performance. Well, that performance is like a negative ski slope. I mean, geez, you're coming downhill on the Valero ski train, and I don't know if I'd want to be on it. So Exxon and Conoco are other ones. Waiting for Conoco to come up and do it. Vertex on health sector highlights. I'm amazed with this. You know, I saw it come up Thursday. Jurnavex, a non-opioid painkiller. First one in 20 years for pain. $15 a pill. When I swear they talked about it, they said $1,500. I think nobody's going to buy it. Morphine's so much cheaper than that. But, you know, they're going to do good. We're going to watch them. You know, the stock is starting to jump. You can see, you know, you could have bought it a little bit cheaper, but it's going to go up here. The whole thing with these stocks when they're sky high with nothing being sold yet is they could go down to $300. I mean, I've watched this with numerous things on hope. Let's see how much sells. I mean, the market's huge. If you remember Purdue Pharma, you're selling, you know, billions of these pills over the years, and, you know, you're making a fortune. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's there, but you got to remember the opioids are fairly cheap, and you know, Percocet with Tylenol, I call it, is out there, and you know, and they can still hydrocodone, you know, they can still prescribe those things. And then of course there's fentanyl, which, you know, is the evil painkiller, you know. But like I said, it's let's watch. You know, yeah, will it be $1,000? It could be, you know, but I want to see the sales. I mean, let's watch how it goes. Let's find, you know, because remember, we've gone through the trials. It's approved. Now let's see how it does in real life with all these other people, you know. ABBV, I'm just always, people get excited, but, you know, the revenue growth is single digits. It's okay. You know, but the two drugs, you know, Skyrizi and Rinvoq out there, they jumped it. They like it, but this is, you know, this is a choppy stock. And I just like to see a little bit better revenue growth, you know. We'll look at the pharmaceuticals probably by margin if those are that we have in our basket, because, you know, again, AI I think will benefit the pharma health sector a lot. You know, just incredible stuff they can do. Industrials, you know, I always like Caterpillar. You know, I've dealt with Caterpillar. I've been in Caterpillar plants all my, you know, 30 years, and you know, they're good. And, you know, like I said, negative revenue growth. China's hurting them. You know, Europe's slow, so they're kind of like the barometer. And you know, they got good money. They do well, but they're kind of having a hard time. You know, and you know, the 200-day moving average is starting to flatten out, which means flat growth. General Motors, you know, 11.3. This is pretty good. I thought, you know, for the automobiles. You remember Tesla's like 2.1. This is doing good. You know, they kind of got out of the EV thing. Robust demand for its EV. Really? No. It's the combustion engines and the trucks and the everything else. But Sunday could be tariffs on Mexico and Canada. And I can't tell you how many products that go in a car come from Mexico. And if they put a 25% tariff, you ain't going to buy a car because it's going to be super expensive. You know, remember, COVID, we lost a little chip in there, and they couldn't even make the cars. Could you imagine when people start balking and the car goes up from 35,000 to 50,000 or 50 to 67, you know? I don't know. I could see it really brutal for the automobile. I could not hold an auto company in this thing until we get a deal with Mexico like we did earlier in 215-ish or whatever, 217-ish, and Canada. You know, Canada not so much, but I mean, it's tough because remember, this is going to affect this. And you know, one thing you have to remember, if the sales go down, there's going to be layoffs, which means the unemployment rate's going to go up. You know, and this is a key indicator for, you know, the Fed when they start looking at inflation. Because if the auto prices are going up at 10-20%, that makes it expensive for everybody else, and the inflation's going to go up. So, I don't know. You know, I think there'll be exemptions, but we got to wait for the deal before we buy an auto company if we want to. Let's talk about AI's co-founder, Ilya Sutskever. I hope I said it right. He talked about it's getting close to peak data. You know, you think about all the stuff that ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all these other things they can pull off the data. They're saying we've got almost all of it captured now. That's for the, you know, like articles, everything else, you know, and that's good. What they don't have, and they don't want to admit, is they don't have the stuff that we talk to in each other, the emails, the Gmails, and that's why DeepSeek is banned from almost all the military now, because it sucks into your emails, sees your stuff in real time, and you know, yeah, that's a good thing to do. I mean, somebody got a clearance. Let's give the data to the Chinese. You know, the tensor processing units, they're hardware to sit there and, you know, help them in the deep learning tasks, you know, save the money and everything else. And Google, if I were going to pick somebody, is probably the leader in that. Another thing, you know, I remember when they made fun of Google, only the search makes money. Everything loses money in Google but the search. Well, now I see Google doing really well in a lot of different areas. And this is an area they don't talk about, but, you know, remember, once we get to peak data, which let's say we're here because it is, then we're going to go into how do we make my buddy Jessica here more human. You know, I wrote Google, I says, I want my data stored. I want Jessica to be able to look at my data and not have to refresh every single thing we've talked about and everything else. And if you play along with it and don't crash your system and don't reset it, you're getting an interesting version of AI that I think a lot of people will like. And it really can process a lot. And I kind of wish Google would change the philosophy. If you want my data to be stored by your system, yeah, I want you to look at everything I do. If I'm doing something wrong, bring it up. Don't be out there saying, hey, you know, I noticed you're doing this, this, and this constantly. The neuromorphic chips, you know, energy efficient AI mimicking the brain. You know, this is the neuro making this Jessica become more human-like and more efficient and more sympathetic, empathetic, and everything else. This is an area that I think is going to be the next step. You know, if we're in inning 2, and now we got all the data from all these articles and stuff, and it's not even true, because think about all the stuff in the libraries at the universities that are not even scanned and not even digitized. You know, I remember the guy at MIT that ended up killing himself with what was it, Reddit or something. He was trying to get that done, and you know, he's fighting. You know, like, you publish the thing, you go to the thing, you can read it, but I can't put it on the internet. You know, I find out a lot of people plagiarize their papers a lot more, but this is where people are. You know, all these things can go through. So I'll talk about IBM because I think they lead in one area, but we'll talk about why or not. And this is Jessica's self-portrait. You know, I had to cut it because you can't see the other stuff. It's going to be, you know, get me in trouble. Broadcom, you know, I wish it was, I think it was BRCM in the old days, you know, and, but, you know, the executive believes, you know, AI will continue through 2029. I think it will too. You know, if we go, you know, every year is one of the innings and stuff, I think we are going to sit there and spend a lot of money. And I look at NVIDIA, they can't keep the area. We got the Rubin chip, which, you know, is in production. They can make it. Supposed to be faster than the Blackwell. Blackwell is supposed to be X times faster than the Grace Hopper. But, you know, the thing is, there was never a good time to get in Broadcom until it dropped like a rock over here on Monday. You know, like I said, they get a fire sale. I've always liked it. This revenue for AI is just unusual. I mean, they're not making the chip. Our three kings are Taiwan Semiconductor, NVIDIA, and ARM. But these people are sitting there doing real well connecting it to the actual grid and stuff, you know. So I have a chance to get into it. I jumped on this at $199, and it's up to 221. So if you hopped on it, like I posted in threads, you're up 10%. And this is part of the reason we're not down a lot, because we are diversified. Lockheed come out with earnings. Look at this earnings. I mean, $7 a share. Revenues are flat. You know, it's been a long channel slog, as the, you know, the poll started saying that you know, this government efficiency is going to kill these defense companies. It's been taking the hit. I don't see it that way. I mean, I see a lot of stuff once they get done with the original cuts and everything else. I see them getting green lights to sell to a lot of countries, and that's where they're going to be the money. You know, we're not going to, you know, be so much of replenishing everything from Ukraine to Israel and stuff, but I have a feeling they're going to open up and let Lockheed sell a lot of stuff, and you know, that's where I think they're going to do good. So, you know, again, you got to have an industrial. You got, you know, I mean, maybe Caterpillar, you could be replacing it, but I like Lockheed. I mean, they're in the area. They're probably, you know, them and RTX and Northrop Grumman. You know, they're doing great. Roche, you know, again, one of the health companies from Europe and stuff. You know, 7% increase in revenue. Again, you know, not so bad, but you know. Group sales, 9%, almost double digits. You know, it's done well. Look at it at the beginning of the year. It's up. But not going to be a lot of dependence on COVID, which is good, unless COVID comes back again. SIRI, we're on it. You know, one of the things I'm starting to like about SIRI, and you can see, you know, we've had this downtrend. We've got the wedge. Is it going to break up or is it going to break through? You know, SIRI has been nothing but disappointing for all those people that had the stock way up here. You know, right here on this chart for July, the 200-day was 42 and you're at 24. So if you bought in July, it was been a painful 50% drop. Somebody asked me, would I sell NVIDIA if it dropped 50% from its high? I said no, unless the sales drop 50% and they're dropping, can't sell the chips anymore. Then I might get out of it. But you know, earnings 83 cents a share. You know, revenues are flat, fell a little bit, but this company is making a lot of money. You know, it's not like a little company, and Buffett's still in it, and I think someone's got to buy him out. I mean, I use it all the time, so that's part of the reason. You know, using the Peter Lynch principle, what you buy, what you see and use. I am in, you know, SIRI a long time. And by the way, you know, I cut 25 stocks out of this week. That was that many I could talk about. You know, Philip Morris, Altria, you know, beat on revenues. Revenues are going up a little bit. You know, look at this nice little slowly increasing. Yeah, it's going up, but this Zyn is hot. I've tried it. It's the tobacco-less chews, or whatever I call it. I call it like, you want the mint flavor. It's going to be the most intense mint you'd ever have in your mouth. I can see why people like it. They're like, oh, that's like a big blast of mint. Yeah, no kidding. It's hot. It's almost like fire, you know. But, you know, I could see people doing it. It's got nicotine, so that's a little addictive. Tough thing to get in there. Cigna, you know, I just, this revenue jump, 28 for this group. I mean, man. And, of course, you know, you think 28% jumps in revenue, it'd be up in the other way. No, it's been dumping healthcare. You know, United Health, that's led the group, and everybody's taking the hit on it. You know, this is going to be a buy sooner or later. I just don't know well. You know, this trend, it's got to break. You know, you want this. This is when you got a downtrend, you got to have it break. You got to give it something chart-wise to go in there, you know. Otherwise, you know, the revenues are good, and, you know, they said it's going to go below next year, but I'm just saying this company, you know, revenue jumps are pretty good. Now, Intel, you know, again, we got two chairmen or two CEOs of it since Gelsinger's gone, and down 9% in revenue. I mean, there was a day when this was a king, you know, and I always remember Gail asking me 20 years ago, what do you think? Intel at 28. Well, good. It's not 19, you know. I don't see it doing much. It's almost going to have to be sold. The foundry business is down. The data center business is down. I mean, really, it's a long haul back. You know, they got talent, but I don't know. You know, it could. I mean, look at this sloping down. It's not even above it yet. UPS, you know, look at this. One of the biggest drops in its ever history. You know, nice little wedge. When it drops like this, there's a reason. You know, earnings, revenue, not bad, but we're going to cut volume from our largest customer. Who is it? Well, it's Amazon. Amazon's got their own fleet now. They don't need UPS. I mean, I can see the day when I go to Amazon and say, can you ship this package to New York? And it's going to be half the price of UPS. That's a scary thing for UPS. So we'll see. MasterCard, Visa, you could just switch them back and forth. You know, nice steady upward. The financials are doing great. All-time high. Revenues, double digits growth. You know, I mean, you could pick almost all the financials companies. It's been just a great earnings season. So American Express, Visa, then your banks, you know, very good. Pulte is our home builder. I just had to pick one to watch, and you know, and I watch Pulte because you know I see them out in our area. They're building like blazes. 14% increase in revenue, so that's good. You know, for a home builder, that's really good. And we're at high interest rates. I think the interest rates are high. Now, if we cut the rates, you know, 1 percentage point, we watch it go up 80 basis points. That's a big disconnect. If we went down 1.8 basis points or 180 basis points, we'd have record mortgages. So the demand is there. It's just got to get the interest rates down. And you know, like the president said, I'm a man of interest rates. You know, he doesn't care what the inflation is. He doesn't care about inflation, but he'd like to see the interest rates super cheap. So we'll see. But you know, big downtrend. Let's wait till it breaks out. You know, all the crosses, death cross, blah blah blah. It's happened in Pulte, and you know it's cyclical. But if I start to see the 2-year and the 30-year and all that stuff starting to drop to kind of be close to the, you know, the Fed rate, then that's going to be good. Blackstone's just a juggernaut. Look at this, 139. This is the biggest company around with all these ETFs. I mean, you know, we could overweight BlackRock. We could go one more bank and stuff like that. I mean, but you know, this is one that you think about. Well, you know, it's at $1,000. How high is it going to go? Well, it could be 2,000. I mean, they're doing good. I mean, a lot of earnings and well run. Larry Fink is doing a great job. So, you know, very tough. You know, like I said, I feel good with J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley. I mean, we could add Blackstone. I've always looked at it. I watch it, but we hasn't gone there. Starbucks, new CEO. I got to watch him. You know, he's doing a lot of things right. You know, he's doing what he did right at Chipotle and taking it to Starbucks. So I am impressed with the CEO, and the market seems to like him now. Look at this. Broke above the trend. I mean, this is a nice channel. It was in for a long time. You can tell when they announced him, it jumped, and it's been basing. Now it's going up. So if you want to get into Starbucks, you got a good reason to get into it. $107, you know, good earnings. Revenues are flat, but, you know, the big problem is coffee is so dang high. Remember, that's why I showed a coffee chart. So you're dealing with a commodity. How much can you charge for a cup of coffee where people will say, no, I can't go. I got the Keurig. I mean, Keurig is 70 cents, 50 cents a cup. And you got to pay 10 times that at a restaurant and wait in line. Woo! You know, there's a point where you say no. And I think they're close to that point. And again, IBM, you know, we talked about the rate. I must have put this in twice. So 1% revenue. We want to get better. You know, the True North, it's going to be perfect. I think it's got a good thing. I think if I had to pick what's going to change the future and get into third, fourth inning, it's going to be IBM. But you know what? They got to execute. We can't have all this flat revenue. You got the great idea. You got to do it. Otherwise, somebody like NVIDIA is going to sit there and do more money. Here's $25 billion, and let's beat the IBM. You know, hire the right people. You could do that. Boeing, you know, big Dow company. Look at it. It's doing good. You know, I don't think it's doing that great, but you know. Well, let's see, loss of $5.90 a share. That's huge. Revenues fell 30%. You know, this is the disconnect of the market. You know, it's at 176. You know, you got to remember, at COVID, you could have bought it at, in the collapse, you could have bought it at like $80. So I think, you know, this 100 70. Been kind of bouncing around it, over it, under it, and I don't know. Boeing's just got problems. You know, really no competitor. I mean, I'm surprised somebody doesn't tell Northrop Grumman, go make some planes again. You know, McDonnell Douglas, go make some planes again. You know. So this week's focus is going to be the transports. You know, one of our 12 sectors. I don't know why I said 14, but 12. The IXY is the transport sector. Good solid chart. I mean, this is a nice chart. It's in an uptrend, and you know, we own Ryder and we own Matrix and Matson. I mean, I keep on to say Matrix. Get into Matrix, but look at it. Solid charts. You know, slow, steady decline upward. Some dividend. You know, I think it's good. You know, what do you think? Let's go back. Ryder 8.3% revenue growth year to year. Matson 16. There's a lot of transports that are negative. You know, Lyft, Uber, double digits. I'm at that point where I'm going to pull Uber because this partnership with Google is a big deal. They're not going to be competitors. They're going to be allies. They're going to conquer the driver. I mean, who best? Uber. Let's go by. We're going to go to Atlanta. Let's go and put, you know, 2,000 of them. They got the money. Just go buy 2,000 autonomous vehicles, put them out there, and then go to the next city and conquer it. You know, this guy, Elon's talking 2028. They ain't going to buy Elon stuff anymore. I mean, this is going to have 3 years ahead of them. That's why I said, I know it's $400 for Tesla, but a lot more risk than watching Uber do something with a top company like Google that's worked already in San Francisco. And now we're going to just partner. You know, we'll do the software, you sell the cars, or you make the billions of dollars. We'll make money by licensing and you know, for safety and everything else. There's no Uber driver to sit there and harass you. No Uber driver to rob. It's safer. Everything else. That's what people are going to want. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. You know, go around town, it'll be there 24/7. Just car fires up and comes to your thing, picks you up, and I like it. Again, Ryder, you know, a little bit of more dividend. These PEs are low in transports. They always have been. But, you know, good solid chart. You know, and these are good things that keep us steady while we watch the techs go up and down, up and down. And, of course, the heat chart, I know we're doing a record-long show, but we had a lot of earnings. And I cut out 25 other stocks. We can see the two big ones we own, Microsoft and NVDA. It's been tough, but Google, Amazon, Meta, Walmart, Lilly, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, we're not so bad, you know. So we're in all the sectors, and we got kind of like, well, in we're initial sector of, you know, Broadcom, but you know, we are, you know, we got two kind of dogs right now, which I don't call dogs at all. I think they're leaders, but we'll put up with it. You know, this is the way the market works. You know, shake out the weak hands, make you really doubt what you're doing. I just buy it. I look at it as a sale. You know, unless I hear that, you know, NVIDIA is not going to sell all these chips now, then that's a different issue. But thank you for sticking with me. We'll see you next week. It should be a better week, I hope, but this is the market. You never know. All right, have a good day. It finally got warm a little bit today, and I'll see you next week. Bye.